Okay, we are recording. Hi, everyone. This is the November 7th edition of the Cluster API Azure Provider meeting. This is a meeting that is recorded and available on the internet, so please be, or will be available on the internet. So please be mindful of what you say, what you do. Please be sure to adhere to the Kubernetes Code of Conduct and just in general, be awesome people. So we've got a light agenda. We're going to go through the project board. Cecile, I don't know if you want to walk through some of the stuff that you've been working on.
Sure, I can. Do you want me to do that now or?
Yeah, let's do one announcement first. So Cecile has been working incredibly hard over the last month plus or so to land the V1 Alpha 2 working on image building and a whole bunch of stuff to make the project better. So we are going to be graduating Cecile to an approver for the repo. I just approved the PR, and there are a bunch of other PRs that we have to do. But Cecile, thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I will resume. I just will, but I was muted.
Thanks, Javier.
Okay, now you can tell us what you've been working on.
Oh, now that puts a lot of pressure. Okay, so David and I have been working really hard fighting with the marketplace team, or not fighting, sorry, collaborating with the marketplace.
Collaborating.
Get our image into first party mode, and we finally succeeded. So that merged. So now users don't need to accept legal terms anymore when they use the image for the first time, which will make the user experience a lot friendlier. And then so I added resource tags. So that was kind of a prerequisite for bring your own VNet and bring your own resource group. So that's merged, and the bring your own resource group PR is also merged. I'm working on bring your own VNet right now, but I put that on hold to focus on building a pipeline for image building, so we can automate that a bit further. And then we have quick start. Sorry, we're in a bunch of people are in the same room, so we have a quick start doc in the Cluster API book for Azure now. So please go try that. The PR just merged this morning. Let me know if you have any feedback. And I think that's it, unless I'm forgetting anything. But yeah, I would love to talk about the release because I think we're pretty much there.
Yes. So one question about the image building: is it going to be easy for us to do? Like, what's the turnaround time for getting an image at this point?
Yeah, so that's why I want to work on automating it, because right now it's not, to be honest. But the plan is that we have a pipeline that we can just press a button and it does it end to end. And actually, David has been working on a tool. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but to automate publishing. Do you want to talk about it on my mic, or should I?
I'll just link it.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, so we'll be using a pipeline so that we can just like do all the building and all the publishing automated, and then the time, like how long it will take, will depend on how long it takes to replicate the image globally, which isn't under our control. But at least from our side, we'll try to optimize it as much as possible.
Okay, cool. So with regards to permissions, who will be able to do this?
So right now, I think, well, right now the pipeline does exist, but right now I think we need to have access to this subscription, which is sponsored by Microsoft, the CNCF subscription. So I think you have access, Stephen, and
yeah,
I also have access as well, but not anyone will be able to. You have to have the like credentials for the subscription to be able to build the images. And then you also need to be, well, we can talk about that later.
I think we should just figure out how to permission the DevOps job or whatever to allow whoever needs to kick off the build, or maybe just put it as a tag. Like maybe it's caused from a tag on the repository or something like that.
Yeah, I think we should think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, as much as possible, at least to start, just having community members able to do this as well. So like me as a community member, like that's enough for now. As we move forward with the image building, we should be able to do it very similarly to the way that we do the container image building, right? So something merges in the, something merges in the repo, a pre-submit kicks off a job, right? So that job runs on GCP, but this job would run in Azure, right? So just figuring out the mechanics behind that.
Yeah, sounds great.
Cool. So release, yes. Asked about the release. I owe docs at this point, and I think that's the last thing that we need to do before kicking out the release. I have been on some KubeCon driven development for release engineering and SIG release. So I haven't had as much time to work on the CAPC stuff, but now that you've merged the quick start and all that stuff, it should be fairly quick after that. So ideally before KubeCon, maybe we can do it at KubeCon together. But yeah, coming soon, release very, very soon.
How much work do you think is required in terms of docs?
Not too much. It's really just staring at them for a little bit. I just need focus time to do it.
Okay. Yeah, let us know if you need help with that.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Hey, Stephen, this is Wanley.
Hey.
So I wanted to, I'm my camera. So I wanted to talk a bit about our plans for
Machine pool?
getting the V1 Alpha 3. Yes, and machine pool. So, and I think, yeah, the prerequisite to that is for us to have a plan around branching for V1 Alpha 3. And I just wanted to have a conversation about that. And then we can talk about how begin to integrate machine pool there as well.
Okay. Yeah, so branching wise, we're assuming that master right now is V1 Alpha 2, right? So once it gets to the point that we actually cut the real V1 Alpha 2, so we've cut like an Alpha 0 or Alpha 1 at this point. Once we cut an actual V1 Alpha 2 or a 0.3.0 release, we can drop a branch for release -03, right? That'll become the V1 Alpha 2, and then we'll move master into V1 Alpha 3 state.
Okay, that sounds great. And I think the transition to V1 Alpha 3 should be much less disruptive than.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Cool.
I see that some issues have been opened already for doing the V1 Alpha 3 types. So.
Yeah, and we already have volunteers.
Nice. We're moving. We've got people, and they're excited, and everything's going great. All right, cool. So what's next?
So you had it.
Yeah.
So your KubeCon development are you showing something with the cluster API?
No. It's all related to release engineering. So what we've been doing over the past 2 cycles or so really is so like some of the stuff around the container image building, some of the stuff around we just started refactoring the bash scripts that run all of Kubernetes really into Go tools, stuff like that. Documentation, building out the teams. So a lot of it has been focused on documenting the technical debt that we've been cleaning up. So I have 2 talks that I'm doing around that. One's like a SIG release deep dive, and then Tim and I are talking about like Kubernetes, the kernel, and which is kind of like an answer to Tim Hawken and Michael Rubin's talk from like 2017, where we see how far we've gotten over the last 2 years. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know if anyone's giving a cluster API talk? Because ours got like the one I submitted with Andy got rejected, but I don't know if anyone else got one in.
It's who isn't giving a cluster API talk. That's the big problem. Like, so as a reviewer, it's the thing that we like to talk about because we're working on it. But I think in my review batch I saw at least 5 talks for cluster API. So
Anything's get rejected.
Yeah. So who's got accepted?
exactly. We can check it out. I can check it out later.
Okay. Let me know.
Okay. Also, if anyone wants to note take while we're shenaniganing. So Wanli, you wanted to talk a little bit about the machine pool stuff?
Oh, I think really I don't have a whole lot to talk about except just being able to have the V1 Alpha 3 branch to work off of.
Well,
So,
I mean, yeah, that's okay. I see what you mean.
That's fairly easy, and I mean, I don't want to cause too much, branch divergence. But
well, here's the thing: you have the machine pool branch already, right?
yeah, the changes are pretty minimal, so I could just apply the changes there, and we can just go apply them separately.
Exactly.
Is it's really, like, to be honest, just like cluster name is the biggest breaking change.
Okay.
So I think I can just do that, and then yeah, we just, as soon as that branch is available, I'll just rebase, and then we can we'll figure out what to do from there.
Yeah. I mean, you can start going for it at like right now if you wanted to, because
I won't be blocked by that.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. I would say just rebase the from where we're at right now. Just rebase the machine pool branch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at some boards. If there are no more questions. Okay. Cool. All right. So there should be really nothing exciting at all on these boards. Okay, image pushes are working fine. Last one was earlier today. I think that was right after you merged the, I'm guessing the resource group stuff.
Oh, I think that was probably Sertaj's PR, right? For the Azure JSON op.
Oh, right. Yes. The resource group things would have been yesterday, probably.
That also went in.
Okay. All right. And too flaky. Okay, nothing exciting there. All right. Sweet.
Speaking of the Azure JSON, should we add more deep tests so we can actually like do stuff in the cluster?
Say what?
Should we add some deep tests so we can actually do something in the cluster? I'm not sure if there's a test covering those scenarios.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So
mm-hmm.
we don't even have end-to-end tests right now, Sertaj. Like that's an open issue on the board.
Oh, I see. I thought that the one that.
But yes, we should definitely do those tests. Yes, I agree. Cool. And we need help, by the way. So if anyone wants to help with tests.
Should those tests land in the CNCF upstream subscription?
Would yes.
That's already set up that way, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's see what we got. This one I'm gonna close out. And so I believe Antonio was working on some of this for AWS and GCP maybe.
Yeah, I saw a PR around. Oh, it's the second one.
Oh,
That's right.
haha. So I don't necessarily want to volunteer him, but so for this, do we want to do this for V1 Alpha 2, V1 Alpha 3?
I don't know. I think V1 Alpha 3 probably, realistically.
Okay.
But if anyone has time and wants to commit to it, that'd be great. We should probably mark it as help wanted. I think anyone can pick that up.
All right. Okay. Do we want to? So, what are our thoughts on Bastion hosts? I know this comes up every now and again. We should figure out what we want to do there.
Looks like Wanli has thoughts.
Yeah, let's.
What's the question?
Huh?
What's the question?
What we want to do around Bastion hosts.
So I think I want to talk to the team that is creating the Azure Bastion service.
Okay.
And an idea when their GA is, and I think that's probably the best option.
Okay. Cool. Should we? Do we have an assignee for that one right now? Can I give that to you, Wanli?
Yeah, I can follow up on that.
Okay. Stu, no. Actually, yeah. Okay, I think you cleaned up, Cecile, I think you cleaned up a bunch of the to-dos that I had in there because a lot of them are around tagging.
I did, but I think there's still some missing. I didn't do a whole audit of the code base.
Okay, cool. So
I don't know that that's blocking, but yeah.
It's not a huge deal, to be honest. That I've got to do. This is in progress. Yeah, I would say that should we create an issue for the image pipeline? Do we have something around that already?
I actually created one, but not in this repo because it was multi-repo. But yeah, I can create one and add the details of what I'm doing.
Okay, cool. Sorry, what was that?
Sorry, I muted myself. I'm thinking it's more of an image builder issue more than like CAPZ specific.
Yeah, it's just more so that we have a tie-in to track it on our board.
Sounds good.
Really. Yeah. All right. The release engineering tooling, I just need to do a write-up on that stuff. Honestly, that's between the image builder and the GC builder, or whatever we're calling that thing now. There are two image builders. There's one that actually does the AMIs or whatever image type, and then there's also the container image builder that lives in test infra. So just documenting that stuff. This kind of existed before the time that we had the repo wired up correctly, like with reporting status into PROW and what have you. So that's really just documentation. So I'll take that as part of the docs issue that's open. The reconcile delete pattern, how do we feel about this? I think it's been a while since I've looked at this. So the idea here was, and I don't know if is Nishay on the call?
Yeah, he is.
Cool. So I think we went back and forth on this one for a little bit, Nishay. I don't know how you feel at this point. Lee says implementing services as CRDs. I mean, I wonder if this is do we wait on it for core, the Azure core stuff?
Yeah, I think Azure Core will just solve the services problem, but we still might need to implement reconcile on top.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think this pattern is good to build on top of the core.
Okay. All right. I think the thing that annoys me about it is that we have a few places where we're essentially just creating nil functions for just so that they match the interface.
Yeah.
And our interface a little bit of an artifact from V1 Alpha 1 implementation?
100%, yeah. So it's really a question of like, do we want to keep doing that? I think what's happened, thus far is there have been more important fish to fry, really, right? So yeah, so I mean, this is an eventually thing. Maybe we fix it at the tail end of V1 Alpha 2, or it feels like a next thing to me.
Yeah, I mean, so core the form of core could be just that these resources are modeled as CRDs, and in fact, if these resources were just CRDs, they would follow the reconcile delete pattern.
Right, by definition, right.
By definition, and so maybe not a bad idea. I mean, even if they're just called and just implement the same reconcile interface that controllers do, but they're called, from another controller directly.
Mm-hmm. So the question becomes, do y'all want this to be a core for Kubernetes, or do you want it to be a core for the Azure SDK in general? Right, because that changes the implementation.
I think it's always going to be for Kubernetes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I think there's a bunch of other potential useful properties of that implementation. I don't know if you're aware about any of your users hitting things like throttling and these kind of quota limits for different calls.
Well, I've seen the issues flying around about them.
And they've been pretty severe, and so we're really looking at for ideas on how we can deal with these kinds of problems. And one interesting proposal is to instead of all the things kind of related to Kubernetes calling the Azure SDK for Go directly, if we have a CRD for that resource and all of those things use that client and call that CRD, then we can use that as a point to do all of the event what do you call it, rate limiting,
Mm-hmm.
and even do things like merging multiple requests into a single request and things of that sort. So just kind of thinking out loud here. So anyways.
Yeah, no, that sounds reasonable.
I don't know if, so yeah, I mean, we haven't tried this, so I don't think we have much experience. But I mean, even imagine a situation where even some of the cloud provider resources, instead, the cloud provider itself calls this CRD instead of calling the resource directly. And so where the cloud provider has to go and muck with VMSS or a load balancer, where those various clients will compete for overriding the other, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. You then reconcile it in one place and do the calls as needed. And I know there's some work around caching some of this information too.
Yeah.
So.
It's easier to test as well.
Yeah. I think yeah. That's enough. That's
okay. So let's kick this back.
We're still in V1 Alpha 2, right?
Yeah.
Do we?
So I see it as a very small step. We're not going to stay in V1 Alpha 2 for long. I think we want to cut this release and then move on.
So once we get the release, then the work that's going into master is targeted towards V1 Alpha 3, right?
Once we cut well, yes. Once we'll cut a release branch first, and then once we cut the release, that'll be true.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't think there's much value in us staying on V1 Alpha 2, since everyone else is moving towards V1 Alpha 3. All right. Cool. All right, so some stuff around testing. I believe, so this is kind of related to the Bastion stuff. I don't believe this is true anymore about the control plane NSGs. But we'll need to figure out what our strategy is for Bastions before we do anything there. This I'm actually not sure. I don't know if anyone's seen this issue. Node-REF is, come on, computer. All right. Node-REF is only set on a machine when the sync period is expired.
Long time ago.
Yeah, I think we punted this initially because we didn't have enough reports, but it's also possible that it's something that's happening on the AWS side, but we are also right about to change, essentially rewrite everything in the repo. So we should come back to this.
I don't think I've seen this before.
Yeah.
I think the bug was that we update the node ref only in the sync period. We don't update it during the create time at all. We never do it. So we might need to fix it.
The provider ID?
Yeah.
Oh.
We update only during the sync period.
We do update it during the create now.
Oh, we do? Oh, now.
Yeah,
I think
now.
must have we fixed it.
Yeah. Now we do update it during the create.
Okay, so let's make sure that we can validate that and then close this out. Yeah, that sounds right, because after we write the annotations for the nodes, yeah, that should be fun. Alrighty. Is there anything that we do not have on the board that we should before we keep going?
I don't think so.
I'm going to reply because no one did. I'm not aware of anything.
Okay, cool. So I know that there was some want to start talking about the Windows worker node stuff. Is there a meeting for that? I don't know if is Kalia on the call?
I don't see Kalia on the call, but Mark is here. Mark, do you want to talk
Yeah, I
about
was speaking. So Kalia was sick all last week, and I was on vacation most of last week.
Okay.
Meeting, and then we were going to schedule something for either yesterday or Tuesday or Wednesday this week, but everybody's kind of busy with the 117 lockdown code freeze date. So I think we're going to try and pick that up again for next week.
Let's punt it even further. Honestly, let's
Yeah.
let's try if it's possible. Let's see if we can have something kind of informal at KubeCon if people are there.
Okay.
And then target to try to schedule something after KubeCon, because honestly, it's not just the 117 release. It's everyone's kind of in KubeCon driven development mode, right? So it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense to pick up later.
All right, I'll sync with Kali and let her know that that's what we're planning.
Cool. Yeah, and if y'all are at KubeCon, we can definitely sit down about it.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll be there. I don't know about Kali or other folks on her team.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay, is anyone interested in picking up the accelerator? Oh, wait, it's assigned. It's assigned. Nick, are you on the call? I can't see faces.
He's not.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, moving on.
You were needed. Well, I think maybe sync with Nick because he said he would do it at the last meeting.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Is that Nick?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything specific? I think most of the stuff that I'm looking at seems to be in the right place. Is there anything specific that people want to cover, or else we can give back a few minutes?
Would anyone like to help with end-to-end tests? And if you don't want to volunteer right now on this call, you can message me after.
It's a lot of pressure.
I can help too. I can share with whoever picks it up.
I'll ping you, Cecile.
Okay.
I would also like to help. I just won't be able to do that probably until next week.
Okay. Whoever gets to me first wins.
All right. So it looks like John is currently assigned to it right now.
Yeah. I don't know. Is John on the call? We synced like it was like a month ago, and I haven't heard back since. So I'm wondering if.
Okay.
So I should ping him.
I've got some potential. I'm gonna sit down with Dims, who's been working on the conformance tests, and we're gonna try to wire that up for CAPC as well, because he's done it for Kappa and CapG already, and he's like, yeah, I can walk you through it. So we'll get those in short order as well. Yeah, I feel like a lot of this is not much is going to happen until after KubeCon.
Yeah.
Kind of the way that goes.
And then it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and then Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so maybe not the week after KubeCon. maybe a date very far in the future, but before another holiday break.
What's VMware is December like?
I don't know. It'll be my first time finding out what their what their December is like. I'm probably going to try to slot some vacation in at some point. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right. All right. Any closing remarks before we go?
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Stephen.
Thank you. No, thank you. I've got a bunch of PRs to do for your access, because it's like the image access on I don't know, the GCP permissions, some of the teams on Kubernetes SIGs to make sure that you have like admin access to the repo and stuff like that. So I'll work through that by early next week.
Okay.
Cool.
No.
Sweet, sweet. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.